Well, Colin Cowie, event planner to the stars, knows that the taste for the finer things and the exquisite things in life is a global one, and that is why he doesn't shy away from organizing events in other countries, as he's doing while he's here. Colin is joining us to chat about how he tackles all of these things. So awesome to have you here with us, I must say.
Thank you.
I wanted to know from you, when it comes to events, the things you plan are absolutely amazing. How much of the final say is the client's, and how much of the final say is your kind of, expertise and skills that you want to lend to an event?
I've traveled 13 million miles around the world and visited almost 100 countries, always in search of the best and the finest. But I have to say, it always comes from the client.
Yeah.
I'm like a chameleon. I think that great style comes from ruthless editing.
Yeah.
Give me all the ideas. Tell me what are your favorite colors. Where do you like to eat? Where do you like to travel? How do you envision this day? And I'm a really good listener. And I take all this information and I come back to them and tell them how it could play out between Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's really about me editing their ideas to help tell their story. That's why no two of my jobs have ever looked the same. Because it's not about me, it's about them. I just make it magic.
Now, I can imagine planning an event, planning a wedding takes a lot of planning and strategic thinking. How is it for you different doing it in a different country? I mean, you're planning something here in South Africa.
60% of my work is outside of the US.
Okay.
Wow.
So we work all over. I'm working on a project in India right now. And then I do a lot of speaking engagements, which kind of keeps me on the top of the iceberg, which gives me a very global perspective of what's happening in the world of weddings. And I think it's also become very homogenized in a way and very global because of Instagram and Pinterest. It's interesting. I'll end up in India and start seeing the same things that I'm seeing in New York, or be in Peru or Brazil and find a similar look. So our world has become pretty global from that point of view. So when we do travel, I take a small team with me, and I always hire a lot of local people, which is kind of fun because we get to teach local people what we're doing. Yeah. And if I need any support, there's nothing like a local person to help you when you need it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about some of the hottest destinations for weddings and events in Africa, because, I mean, you've experienced it all.
We're right here, Cape Town.
Yes.
I mean, this is one of those beautiful cities in the world. There's a gazillion places. I mean, the vineyards that you have here, there's not one, there's 100 that are one more beautiful backdrop than the next. And I think Cape Town is a very, very multifaceted, multicultural place to bring any international audience to.
Wonderful. Well, Colin, you did say that you were here planning a wedding that's happening in November, but what else are you busy with while you're here?
Okay, so most interesting, I was a keynote speaker at a very big wedding industry event in Italy last year, in Puglia. And I met this charming lady from South Africa, from the South African School of Weddings, Carly Collins. And she said to me, would you ever consider coming to South Africa to do a workshop? So I said, I always believe in giving back. And I think that these gifts that I have are a blessing. And the more that you share them, the more you give, the more you get to give. So I said, well, invite me to South Africa. I'll come. And on next Wednesday in Johannesburg, the 3rd of May, I'm doing a big workshop the South African School of Weddings to teach everything that I know and open up Pandora's box and share what I know for everybody else in the industry.
That is incredible.
Absolutely
Not to be missed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Colin, thank you so much for joining us this morning, sharing all of those incredible insights. And, I feel like I've learned a lot, whether it came to event planning, florals, and even decor tips from the Master of Weddings. And, of course, we thank Colin Cowie for that. But if you'd love to see more about his events, you can visit www.colincowie.com.